Alright chat, welcome to the tier list. Since Milano came out and then there's a new patch, we're going to make a tier list talking about which Pokemon are good to play, which is God tier, which is S tier, A, B, C, and D. And I want to tell you guys a reason why the Pokemon is good quickly, so you guys understand why I think it's good in the tier list. Also in draft, to be honest. Draft just came out. When you reach 1400 and 10 players are going to be 1400, you unlock the draft mode, which is also gonna be really good for a solo queue. But it's hard to get 10 people with 1400, right? Maybe probably a bit later. So we start with Venusaur. Venusaur used to be, like 2 years ago or like 1 year ago, D tier or C tier, right? It used to be such a bad Pokemon. It got a lot of buffs. Venusaur pretty strong. You can play Petal Dance, Venusaur, Giga Drain, and Solar Beam, Giga Drain, or Sludge Bomb. I think Venusaur in solo queue is A tier. I think the reason why Venusaur isn't A tier for me in solo queue is because he doesn't really have the best landing phase, but he's good at punishing people, right? In solo queue, people like to stick together. So when you play Venusaur and you get a Reach Bomber, it's gonna be really good for you. Gardevoir, I think Gardevoir is A tier as well. Same reason. Gardevoir is a Pokemon that got the Unite Move buff and a lot of buffs recently as well. Unite Move only being 89 seconds means you can spam so many Unite moves in solo queue. Also, you can play it in Central Area. You could play Botlane and Top End Path, but Central Area is better. Right, Cinderace. I think Cinderace is B tier. Maybe C tier. The reason I put Cinderace in B tier and solo queue is because Cinderace is the type of character that is good in solo queue in terms of like securing. His ultimate is pretty strong. He's not the best character in fighting, but I don't think Cinderace is A tier. He's probably C tier or B tier. You could put him in God tier as well for the solo queue players that enjoy playing Cinderace, but in my opinion, he is B tier. Cramorant, I think Cramorant is B or A tier as well. I do think Cramorant is a bit of, like, struggles a bit in the early game. If you play against, like, Umbreon, Espeon, it depends on the build that you play. If you play Surf and Hurricane, I think it's B tier. But I think if you play Dive and Air Slash, honestly, I low-key think Cramorant is pretty good in solo queue. I don't think Cramorant is that bad. Cramorant, probably A tier. I think it's a decent character. Deals a lot of damage, has a really strong Unite move. It's alright. Pikachu. I think Pikachu is B tier. Even though Pikachu got buffed, the Volt Tackle buff, I don't think Pikachu is as oppressive as the A tier Pokemon like Gardevoir or Venusaur. I think Pikachu is good at punishing Speedsters with Volt Tackle or playing Thunderbolt, Thunder to outrange opponents. But I don't think Pikachu is A tier. When I play Pikachu in solo queue, most of the time it's just a coin flip. Honestly, when I play attackers in general, it's just like either I get a good team or it's gonna be doomed. So I don't think Pikachu is that oppressive. So I would put them in B tier. Decidueye? I think Decidueye is B tier just because of the fact that there's a lot of people that will hunt the Decidueye down. I don't think Decidueye can be A tier. He is pretty oppressive when he gets early stacks, especially when you play solo queue. Stacking in early game is pretty good. And when you get stacks with Decidueye and play Spirit Checker, it's really good. I think if you put him in A tier, it's probably fine. But realistically, I think he's B tier. I don't think he's that great because he's just gonna come down. Mewtwo, I think Mewtwo is S tier. Mewtwo is S tier right now. One of the best attackers in the game. Obviously, it's an EX Pokemon. It's pretty oppressive. When it gets level 5, it's pretty strong. Although it got a change that you need to use some stuff and your Mega Gouge is not as long as before, I still think Mewtwo is really oppressive. Inteleon, obviously one of the best attackers in the game. S tier for sure. Has a really strong secure in the early game. Has good snipe shot potential. Put it in S tier, not in God tier, because God tiers are the Pokemon that are extremely broken, but you can beat Inteleon. But if the Inteleon plays well, it's gonna be pretty hard for you. Would recommend you to play the Snipe Shot and Face Stinger build. Delphox. I think Delphox is A tier as well. As I said before, Gardevoir, Delphox, both of them have 89 seconds cooldown on their ultimate. They can spam the Unite moves. Obviously, Fire Spin got buffed as well, so you can play Fire Spin. Gonna be a guide in the future on YouTube as well. Delphox pretty strong. Also, when I do the solo queue tier list, I think about emblems. I think emblems make your characters really strong, right? Delphox, 7 black emblems with 6 green is super oppressive, so strong. It's really abusive with Delphox and when you play Mystical Fire Flame Charge. When I have a lot of fun. Obviously, it's not S tier because their Fox is a weak early game. But if you don't get ahead in the early game, then it's just gonna be hard for you. Espeon, same thing. Mid tier, good secure in the lane, good overall in the mid game. Psyshock is strong, Stout Power is strong. Both builds are fine, both builds are viable. I don't think Future Sight is as good anymore as it used to be. I would recommend you to play always Psyshock, Psybeam, because it's just better move. Glaceon, A tier. I could put Glaceon in the S tier, but as I said again, I don't think Pokemon in the S tier are Pokemon that are extremely oppressive, right? I think Glaceon is really oppressive, one of the most annoying characters in the game. But I don't think I would put it in the S tier. S tier are Pokemon that are strong, not broken, but strong, but can compete at the highest level, right? Like Inteleon's Power Spike is really good at level 15 and stuff. I think I would put Glaceon in the A tier, just because of the fact that Glaceon can get abused if it get played properly. You can put it in S tier, but I would put it in A tier. I don't think it's as broken as people see it is, but it's definitely strong. Greninja, I think Greninja is B tier. I don't think Greninja is the best Pokemon. I mean, I could put Cinderace in the C tier as well. To be honest, I would put Cinderace and Greninja in the B tier. But there's so many Greninja players who are just not that good. I mean, like, Greninja is a bit better than Cinderace in terms of Water Shuriken. He's pretty oppressive against a lot of matchups. I think I would put Greninja in the B tier just because of the fact that he can be annoying with the Water Shuriken build. Greninja and Cinderace both are attackers that are really squishy, not having too much impact. From experience, I think Chandelier is A tier. I think Chandelier is a really strong Pokemon in solo queue. When you play the Flamethrower build, you deal so much damage over it is also fine. I think Flamethrower is just really good for securing. Obviously, like, the early game is not that good. You can get abused in lane. But I don't think Chandelier is a good Pokemon. I think I would put Chandelier in the A tier just for my own experience. Because a lot of times when I play Chandelier, it just feels really good. A9, I think A9 is in the B tier as well. Could put it in the A tier. Pretty oppressive lane, has a lot of A-press potential, has a lot of catch potential, and it's like strong. But if you play against a bad matchup, A9 is gonna struggle a lot. I think characters that are in the A tier, for example, again, are just characters that can carry solo. Like, they can carry solo or make big engages. While A9 can make a big engage and can carry solo as well, A9 is pretty squishy and it doesn't really have a lot of escape potential, right? I would recommend you to play the Blizzard Avalanche build instead of Aurora Veil, because I think Aurora Veil Dressing Beam is probably worse than Blizzard Avalanche. Sylveon, honestly, I might be, like, I would put Sylveon in the S tier as well, but I think Sylveon is A tier as well. I'm not sure, like, because I think Sylveon is in a really good spot right now. I think Hyper Voice Sylveon is just extremely insane. Sylveon also got a buff recently, giving it a bit more damage. I think Sylveon is in a really strong side right now. You can play Mystical Fire, Training Kiss, or Hyper Voice and Calm Mind. I would put Sylveon in the S tier. Obviously, you could put every EV in the same tier, but I think Sylveon is just pretty oppressive. I don't think it's S tier because it's not as strong as Inteleon or Mewtwo. I guess, like, depending on solo queue, probably Inteleon can be A tier as well, but I think Inteleon is just such an oppressive character. Duraludon, I will put it in the D tier. I will not talk about this. I think Duraludon is not a good character. When people ask me about Duraludon, I always say, I think it's just so squishy. It doesn't really do much. It has damage, yes, but it's not worth it to play. Don't play Duraludon, guys. Dragapult, I would put Dragapult in the A tier. Obviously, it got a recent nerf as well, but Dragapult is the kind of character that is really good in solo queue because of the fact that people are greedy, right? They overextend, and then you can punish them. When you play Dragapult in the jungle, obviously you want to play Phantom Force and Shadow Ball. I think Dragon Dance is fine, Dragon Breath, but I think Phantom Force is better. Because you get all these stacks, you can just carry the early game by getting the stacks, abusing the gank, early gank pressure, just getting ahead. So yeah, I would put Dragapult in the A tier as well. Mew, I would put Mew in the A tier. I don't think Mew is S tier. Thinking about solo queue, every time I play Mew, I have like a lot of good games because it's like characters like Mew need a lot of XP, right? They are strong early game, they have good secure with Electro Ball and Barrier, but they also have a really, really nice Unite move. All these A tier characters level 8 evolution characters or level 8 ultimate characters, right? Mew is pretty oppressive. I think Mew is a good character. Especially in solo queue where you can farm a lot because people don't farm. I think Mew is pretty good. Miraidon, straight up God tier. Miraidon, one of the best characters in the game right now. I have tested it today, and you can consistently do 100k damage. The gank potential on this character is unbelievably broken. Everything about this character is just broken. I would recommend you to play the Beam build. I think the Drift build is also fine, but Beam is really oppressive in terms of playing against mages, and the Drift build is good against Beatstars. But yeah, Miraidon is just way too broken. Eldegoss? Honestly, I would probably put Eldegoss in the S tier. Eldegoss had the highest win rate in the of the week, one of the best supports in the game, really oppressive in early game. Like, solo queue thinking, I think Eldegoss is just one of the best supports in the game, but also in solo queue, one of the best to support your teammates. You can play a damage build, obviously you want to play XP Shah. I think Cotton Spore is pretty good. You can play Cotton Guard as well, but Cotton Spore is good against Speedstars, but Cotton Guard is better against mages because you can deflect the damage or reduce the damage if your teammates are taken. Yeah, I think Eldegoss is in a really good spot right now. I think Blizzy is A tier or B tier. I would put Blizzy in A tier just because of the fact that a lot of people will stack on you, on top of you. So when you put Blizzy in the B tier, it's gonna be fine because it's like balanced. But I think Blizzy has pretty good potential in A tier just because it's a pocket pick. You can pick it with Inteleon, Miraidon, with Mewtwo. So yeah, Blizzy is a good character in solo queue overall. You don't see Blizzy as much in the competitive scene. But Blizzy in solo queue is pretty oppressive. Has a good secure. Can pocket god tier Pokemon like Miraidon. It's just pretty oppressive. Wouldn't recommend you to go Safeguard, even though it got buffed. I think Soft Boiled is just really strong. Soft Boiled and Egg Bomb, or Soft Boiled. Yeah, Soft Boiled and Egg Bomb is just pretty good. Wigglytuff. I would put Wigglytuff in A tier personally, because I think it is like such a good Pokemon. But I don't think Wigglytuff is A tier. I think Wigglytuff is a balanced Pokemon, which is pretty good. It was pretty good in the early game. It's got a recent buff as well. But I wouldn't put Wigglytuff in A tier. You wanna play Sing and Decimleam? Obviously, you can play Rollout for fun, but Sing is better for catch-up, for catches, etc. I think Wigglytuff is in a weird spot because sometimes you can carry a game with Wigglytuff, but when you play solo queue and you play support, like the support players that are watching this video right now on the tier list, like they know that Wigglytuff is not as oppressive in the late game fight or mid game because your ultimate unite move is just not big enough. Like the shield is really small. So Wigglytuff in the B tier. Comfey. I can't put Comfey in the A tier as well. Same reasoning with the Blizzy that it can pocket the pick. But realistically speaking, Comfey is even C tier, right? Like when you play Comfey in solo queue and you get bad teammates, you can't do anything. It's like really hard. The only reason why I put it in B tier is because if you got a good teammate and you play Comfey properly, it's probably B tier. But I don't think Comfey is A tier. Probably C tier or B tier. But when I play Comfey in solo queue, I don't have the best time when my teammates are not good. So I will not put it in the C tier. Hoopa. I think Hoopa is S tier. I think Hoopa is one of the best characters in solo queue. It is really impressive in the early game. And I will be uploading a video about Hoopa, how to invade. If you invade with Hoopa, and you make the enemy jungler not evolve at level 5, and you abuse the jungle, Hoopa is so impressive. Just because of the fact that you invade, not let the jungler get level 5, and that you have a portal from A to B and you can portal the team to the opposite map. Just really impressive, right? Obviously, like solo queue, just my thoughts on solo queue, but I think Hoopa and Eldegoss one of the best supports in the game, obviously. It's just really impressive in the early game. Doesn't mean that Hoopa is probably the best in solo queue. It's weak against Speedstars and you need to play it well to make it work. A lot of solo queue players don't know how to make it work, and if you play Trick, a lot of people don't know that when you use Trick on the people and use Phantom Force, you can reset the HP. They just don't know that, so I would recommend you to go Hyperspace Portal and Phantom Force. I don't like Shadow Ball as much. Clefable, I think Clefable is A tier. I think Clefable is a pretty oppressive Pokemon. It is good against a lot of characters, against a lot of Speedstars. Clefairy is the character that likes to, I wouldn't say gamble, but his ultimate move is random, right? You can get a Hyper Beam, you can get a Hydro Pump, anything can count. You can play the Moonlight Follow Me build, you play Gravities against Speedstars, like Gengar, Talonflame, etc. Like Clefairy is in a good spot, pretty good character, would put it in the A tier. It's a pretty good support. You also get stacks for free, you don't really get punished. Mime, I think Mime is A tier as well. I did a recent video with Prof explaining how to play Mime, Mr. Mime in solo queue, or Mime in general. I think Mime is a really oppressive Pokemon, especially in solo queue because a lot of people just run into you. You get a free confusion barrier. It is a really good early game character, right? So we're gonna put Mime there. Sableye, I would put Sableye in the B tier. I don't think Sableye is as oppressive in solo queue. It's hard to carry on Sableye, but you can be extremely annoying, right? You can be really annoying and just make enemies like suffer. Today, for example, I had the Sableye, was playing Confuse Ray and Knockout, and it was just really annoying, just stunning me the entire game. I couldn't really play my game. Right, moving on to the Speedstars. Gengar. I think Gengar is a tier character. I think Gengar is a really good Speedstar in solo queue. I believe that Gengar is one of the best carries in solo queue, just because of the fact that a lot of people will play a lot of attackers. If you have at least 3 attackers in the enemy team and you play Gengar, you know it's gonna be a good Gengar game. I wouldn't put it this tier because Gengar has a lot of counters. Gengar struggles a lot against Umbreon or characters that have a lot of CC or tanky characters because Gengar is good for one-shotting people. So my recommended build is 3 meter and Shadow Ball on Gengar. I think Gengar is pretty great. Absol, same thing. I think Absol is a really oppressive character in the early game. One of the best 5-stack, like one of the best early games in the game, getting level 5. Obviously, I made a video for Absol as well. I've been playing a lot of like solo queue lately, right? So I think making the Steelers is accurate for me. I think Absol, when you play Psycho Cut and Pursuit with the unit move, you can just one-shot anyone. You can one-shot anyone, you can get objectives, and just a really oppressive character. Talonflame, I would go as far as I would put Talonflame in S tier, but I want to be realistic with this tier list. I think Talonflame is such a good character. It's so great. Like Charging Charm made Talonflame so strong. Charging Charm, Razor Claw, attack rate. You can play it on the Brave Bird Everlace build or the Flame Charge build. Talonflame, great early game character, great jungler. You wanna play it in the jungle, not top lane or bot lane. Like when I play Talonflame, and I play against a lot of attackers, it's just such a fun character. I'm a big fan of Talonflame. I think it's a great character, and I think if you play it properly, you're gonna have a lot of fun with Talonflame. Leafeon, I think Leafeon is an S tier. Leafeon is a really oppressive character in solo queue. One of the best secures in the game. Can you play jungle, top lane, and bot lane? Solar Blade, Leaf Blade. Obviously, like Everlace got buffed, but I don't think Everlace is as oppressive as people think it is, or because it got buffed, it's strong. It's still fine. It feels better to play it. I played it today personally, but I don't think it's as good as Solar Blade. Solar Blade is so good on bot lane, so good on top lane. You just need to get level 4. Obviously, it's EV evolution, level 8 evolution. It's just really oppressive in solo queue. You might fall in the late game a little bit because you are really squishy, but you just have to learn how to play Leafeon properly to carry in solo queue. But Leafeon is definitely S tier. Meowscarada, I would put Meowscarada in A tier, not in S tier, even though I think Meowscarada is a really oppressive and good character. It has a lot of bad matchups, and it's a bit hard to fight in a team fight, like with Leafeon, but Leafeon has a better secure and better early mid game than Meowscarada. But I think Meowscarada is a really oppressive character. Obviously, we got a recent buff on all these moves like Double Team, Trailblaze, and Night Slash. But I think Meowscarada is A tier. I don't think it's S tier. I don't think it's as oppressive as the ST characters right now. Zeraora, I think Zeraora is balanced. I wouldn't put Zeraora in the A tier just because of the fact that Zeraora is inconsistent. Pokemon that are in the A tier are a bit more consistent when you play them in solo queue, while Zeraora is a character, if you don't get ahead in the early game, it feels like you're gonna struggle, right? It got a recent buff with level 7 and stuff. I would recommend you to go Discharge and Volt Switch. You can also play Spark and Wild Charge. Both are fine, but I think the Discharge build is a bit more consistent. So yeah, one of the Speedstars that is not as great as the other Speedstars like Leafeon. Talonflame, Gengar, or Escalada. Cypher as well. Cypher, same thing. Like, I think Cypher can. I would put Cypher in the A tier just because I'm a good Cypher. But I know that like a lot of Cyphers will struggle in the early game. They have a hard time carrying. Just because of the fact if you play against a Slowbro, Crustle, Blastoise, etc. It's just gonna be hard for you to carry. I think Cypher is a balanced character. I think it's decent. But I don't think you will have as much results as the other characters. Right, Zoroark. I think Zoroark is S tier. One of the best solo queue characters in the game. Obviously, I can say the same thing about Talonflame, Gengar, and Escalada. It's matchup dependent, but Zoroark is such an oppressive character in the solo queue, like in solo queue. Once you get level 13 with the Feint Attack build, it's so strong. Obviously, Feint Attack Shadow Claw. I'm a huge fan of Zoroark in solo queue. I think Zoroark can carry solo queue games easily. He has a great secure. He has great early pressure. A strong Dragon after level 5. You can get attack rate stacks early. Really impressive. I would put Doduo myself in solo queue TLS ST as well. But I don't think Doduo is as impressive as Zoroark or Leafeon. I will put him in A tier just because of the fact that speedsters are so oppressive in the early game that if you get elite from the early game, you can extend it to the mid game and then to the late game. You can play Tri-Attack, Agility, you can play Jump Kick, Drill Peck. Honestly, Doduo, you can play any build. Any build works. I think Tri-Attack is good with Charging Charm, and I think Drill Peck is good with Resonant Guard. But yeah, Doduo is a really good character. A tier, for sure. Crustle, I would go as far as I go to put Crustle in S tier, but I think I will put Crustle in A tier because he got a slight nerf on the X-Scissor. Crustle is such an impressive defender, one of the best defenders in the game right now. Might even be better than Umbreon, but obviously it doesn't really have as much carry potential because it's a defender. But thinking about defender role, I think Crustle is a great character in solo queue. Crustle can put Rock Tomb, you can play both builds, right? You can play X-Scissor, Shell Smash, but you can also play Rock Tomb, X-Scissor. You can also play the other build, what's called, where you throw the rocks, but I don't think it's as impressive. Its Unite move is really strong. Crustle is pretty strong character, I would put it in A tier. Blastoise, honestly, I would go as far as I would put Blastoise in S tier. Just because of the fact that I think Blastoise is one of the best characters to set up plays. Because of his buff that he gets level 7 evolution. I think Blastoise is such a OP character in solo queue. I would put it in the A tier as well, even though I don't think it's S tier. Doesn't belong in the S tier. Because it can't really pressure as much. But the setup that Blastoise has to win games is just extremely strong. I'm not sure. Chat, what do you think? Should we put Blastoise in the S tier or A tier? We'll put it in the S tier for now. We might change it. You can play Hydro Pump Surf, you can play Hydro Pump Rapid Spin, you can play Water Spot Rapid Spin. When you play Water Spot Rapid Spin, you wanna play Anti-Heal. I'm not sure. I think Blastoise is a solid S tier. One says God tier, one says A tier, one says S tier. I'm not sure. Blastoise is really impressive. It's a strong character for sure. Slowbro, I hate Slowbro. I think Slowbro is A tier. All these characters that are A tier that are being played out, Slowbro can counter them with one point and click, pressing the unfun button and just one-shotting people. Has a great early game, great secure, is really tanky, really annoying. I think Slowbro is a great character. As much as I hate him, I think Slowbro is a solid character as A tier. Obviously, you don't really have much carrying potential, but Slowbro is pretty good. Mamoswine, I would put Mamoswine in a solid B tier. I think Mamoswine is a great character. I don't think it's as impressive as it can be, with a small, slight buff on the damage numbers or on the defense and special defense. I think Mamoswine can be stronger. But because the way Mamoswine is, either you are a great Mamoswine or you suck at Mamoswine, right? So it's a balanced character. You can play it well, you can play it bad. If you are Jirawi, for example, you will just put it in S tier and you will just carry games. But I'm not Jirawi, and I think playing Mamoswine, I feel like it struggles in the late game fight. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. Greedent. As much as I like Greedent is a C tier for sure. I think Greedent is I used to put Greedent in S tier or God tier, but I wanna be realistic, right? Greedent is not the best character right now. It can be good when you play it with Expedia, or you wanna invade to be annoying. but it is hard to play Gradient. Obviously, I would recommend to go the Covet Belch build, but only thing, any build is fine. Like, you can also play Stuff Cheeks and Bullet Seed. Just don't play Covet and Bullet Seed. That's bad. Snorlax, I think Snorlax is a tier as well. I think Snorlax is a really oppressive early game character. It has good secure on bot lane and top lane. It can make a lot of setup. Obviously, you can play Flail build, the carry games in solo. But if you wanna be a good defender and play Xpecia, you can play Body Slam Bjorn, Body Slam Block. Good setup defender, pretty oppressive in the early game, pretty good in the mid game, and good at making setup plays. Trevenant got a recent buff on the Curse build. I think Trevenant is an A tier as well. I think Trevenant has a lot of play potential. You can make a lot of setup with Trevenant, Woodhammer, Hornleash. I wouldn't recommend you to go Pain Split. Maybe Pain Split is fine now, but I think Hornleash is just more consistent. Take the Woodhammer and the Hornleash to make setup plays. Getting level 5 as early as possible. It's going to be beneficial for you. Lapras, I think Lapras is in the balanced tier. I think Lapras got a really bad nerf. It's not God tier anymore, it's not S tier anymore. I would say it's B tier. It's pretty balanced. It doesn't really have the greatest early game, but once you get your Unite move, you can spam your Unite move so much, and it's just really good for making setup plays. Obviously, it's a bit better in carry potential than Snorlax and Crustle, but I think if I think about solo queue and I play these characters, I think they have a lot of potential in solo queue just to make setups, while Lapras cannot really do that. Goodra, I think I would put Goodra in B tier as well. Sometimes I play Goodra and I have like the best game in my life, and then sometimes I play Goodra and I feel like I can't do anything. Goodra is a balanced mon. It doesn't have the best secure, not the best early game. Once you get level 8 and you play against a lot of melee characters, Goodra works really well. But overall, I would say Goodra is not the best character on paper, but also in game. It just depends on the matchup, but also depends on like early game characters, right? If the enemies play weak early jungler, you will not get abused most likely. Umbreon, I would put Umbreon in the God tier, personally, but I want to be realistic again. Umbreon is S tier. I hate Umbreon so much. Umbreon solo queue is so annoying to play against, especially when you play Minok and Snow. But you can also play Wish, I guess. Wish and Minok, or play and Snow. You can play a lot of builds with Umbreon, but Umbreon is such a annoying Pokemon. It is really oppressive in solo queue. You can be really strong. You can play with your support, etc. Obviously, you might not have the carry potential that you would like to have, but as a support / defender, I would put it as an S tier just because it's so aggressive, like it's so strong. Garchomp, I would put Garchomp in the A tier as well. Obviously, I think Garchomp is a character, when you play like Potato Uvu, you can play it in the A tier as well. Potato, one of the best Garchomp in the game. But Garchomp is a character that benefits a lot from the early game when the enemies run into you, because you can A-press them a lot. But it's pretty hard to carry from the mid to the late game if you don't get hurt in the early game. I think Garchomp is pretty balanced. It might need a slight buff. I don't think it's as worse as Cinderace or Greedent. Honestly, I think I'm a bit too harsh on Cinderace. I think Cinderace is B tier. Garchomp, I think Garchomp is a good character. Not the best, not the worst. Solid B tier. Would recommend you to go Dragon Rush, Dragon Claw build. I don't like Earthquake. I think Earthquake is pretty bad. Would recommend that. Lucario, I would put Lucario in the B tier, but just because of the fact that I think Lucario's ultimate has such a good setup, I will put it in the A tier. Lucario's biggest weakness is the late game fight, because it's hard to fight in the late game. You can play Lucario with Power Punch Close Combat, Power Punch Bone Rush, Extreme Speed Bone Rush, or Extreme Speed Close Combat, but the preferred builds are Close Combat, Power Punch, and Extreme Speed Bone Rush. Lucario is really strong in the Extreme Speed department, and I think Lucario is just really good character in general, right? Has a great secure, great top lane early game, just a bit hard to play in the late game. I would put it in the B tier, but a lot of Lucario mains or like solo queue thinking, his Unite move is just really good at making setup plays and securing objectives as well. Charizard, sometimes I feel like Charizard is A tier, sometimes I feel like it's B tier. I will put it in the A tier, Then what do you think? Should we put Charizard in the A tier or B tier? My reasoning for Charizard in the A tier is, I think Charizard is actually a really good character. Like, his Unite move is so strong. You can make a lot of plays with it, but it struggles a lot because it's like, it's not the best. Like, it got nerfed this way, right? Got a recent nerf on the Charizard with the patch. A tier is a bit too harsh. I don't think it's A tier. I think it's B tier. Maybe because Charizard is just like my favorite, I will put it in A tier in my heart, but I think Charizard is pretty solid. It's not the best, worst, not the best. This has been a C tier. Let me know in the comments below if Charizard is C tier or not. I haven't tested it myself in the newest patch, so I'm not sure. But yeah, Charizard can be a good character or a bad character, but they got a big nerf on its auto attack. Machamp? I think Machamp is B tier. As a Machisel fan and Machisel enjoyer, I would put Machisel or Machamp in A tier, but he is B tier. I don't think B tier, like Machamp, is that good. I think it has a lot of setup plays with his Unite move. You can carry games with Machamp, but as I said before, all these characters in B tier get abused by matchup or get abused by the fact that they can only use one ultimate and then they don't do much. I really didn't like Machamp, but it's just like after I use my Unite move, I feel like I can't do anything in the boss fight if the boss fight will happen again. Unite got a recent nerf. I'm not sure why they nerf Hyper Beam again. I would put Unite in B tier or A tier. Personally, I think Unite is A tier. Such an impressive character in terms of early game. Once you get level 5 and you gank a lane, it's just really strong, right? Like, you have a lot of A+ potential, you have a lot of kill potential. I like Unite personally. I think it's a really good character. And I would put it in A tier. You can play Outrage and Extreme Speed. Wouldn't recommend it. I think Outrage and Dragon Dance is better. But also Hyper Beam and Dragon Dance. But yeah, I think Unite is an A tier. Pretty solid spot. Good secure with the Hyper Beam. It's pretty strong. Sabrina is the same thing with Machamp. Even though I think Sabrina has more play potential in solo queue. Because it can get level 6 early. I think Sabrina is just like pretty weird. Even though it got a buff recently, like not recently, but like a few months ago, it's pretty fun character. It can be one of the best characters like in solo queue to have fun. But at the same time, sometimes you just feel like you can't do anything. So it's a balanced tier. You can play both bits, Grassy Glide and Triple Axel, or Stomp and Dropkick. You can make a mix of the abilities, but the winners are pretty solid B tier. Aegislash, same thing. I think Aegislash is a pretty solid B tier. I don't think it belongs to the A tier. It can be really good in solo queue because you can get a lot of attack rate stacks in the early game. But it's pretty hard to make like setup plays with Aegislash if you don't have the right matchup. So I think Aegislash is just like B tier. I like to play Shadow Claw White Card. You can also play Sacred Sword White Card. I don't think Iron Head is that great compared to White Card. I do think Iron Head has its usages, but I think the card is just better than Iron Head overall. But yeah, pretty solid B tier. Azumarill, I think Azumarill is A tier. I think Azumarill is a really strong early game character, which benefits a lot from solo queue because you can stack your attack rate. Once you get level 4 and you have 2 attack rate stacks with Aqua Tail or Whirlpool, it's just really impressive. Azumarill has a good Unite move, it's level 8 Unite move. And I think Azumarill can be a really good oppressive early game character, which is really strong. Yeah, I think Azumarill is pretty solid. It's a great character. Solid A tier. Buzzwole, I would put Buzzwole in the God tier if I would play it. Honestly, I think Buzzwole is God tier. I think Buzzwole solo queue is such an oppressive Pokemon. So OP, level 5, getting attack with stacks early and just dominating the game throughout the entire game. It's also good against Miraidon, keep that in mind. But I want to be realistic. It's not God tier, it's not Miraidon. It's a Buzzwole. So like, Buzzwole in S tier. One of the best solo queue characters in the game. One of the best solo queue carries. If I'm playing a game that I want to win, I will play Buzzwole. Tyranitar. Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm gonna let the chat decide again. I'm gonna put it in A tier for now. But I think Tyranitar is such a good character in solo queue if you get level 9. Because you can abuse the lane. But it's so weak in the early game. And if you don't get ahead in the early game, it's gonna be pretty bad for you to play Tyranitar. It's a solid B tier, like all the other characters as well. It just, when I play Tyranitar and I get level 9 early, it's so OP. But I guess when you think about solo queue, it's probably a solid B tier. D tier? Okay, you guys are too harsh. I don't think Tita is that bad. I think it's a solid B tier, no? Okay, let me know in the comments below what you think about Tita, but I think it's a pretty solid B tier. I don't think it's as bad. Yep. Okay, you can play Santum and Dragon Pulse or Ancient Power and Stone Edge. I think Stone Edge is not the greatest ability. I would like to play Dragon Pulse more over Stone Edge. Santum is better for playing against enemies that have like a lot of burst potential, because you can be in the center and get damage reduction. But Ancient Power is really good at engaging on the Decidueye, for example, etc. Getting the shield, getting the movement speed. Both bits are fine. Scizor, as much as I like Scizor, I think Scizor is B tier. It depends on the matchup. Scizor can be a good character, but it can also be a really bad character. It literally depends on the matchup. If you have a good matchup, Scizor is going to be really great. If you have a bad matchup, Scizor is just going to suck. Scizor is a good character, but as I said before, it depends on the matchup, right? Bullet Punch, Double It, or Bullet Punch, Sport Dance. Both are fine. I like Double It more. It's fine. Water Bear, C tier. Could put the D tier, but I think Water Bear is like really bad solo queue character, but if you play Water Bear properly, I don't think it's D tier. I don't think Water Bear is that trash. I think it's C tier because it has its usages in the early game. Obviously, it got nerfed by a lot, but I don't think it's that bad, Sunshine. Like, it's C tier. It's definitely not like D tier. I mean, maybe because I like to play Water Bear. I don't think Water Bear is as bad as people think it is. I will put it in C tier just because I like Water Bear. I don't think it's as bad as you guys show it, but yeah. Urshifu, I think Urshifu is A tier. I think Urshifu is a pretty solid A tier. It's a pretty good character in terms of early game. It can get abused in the early game by getting invaded. It has a lot of hard things to do, but it has a good secure. It has a good ultimate, and it has a good carry potential, right? I think characters in B tier are situational, but Urshifu can always be good. It has a great secure, not the worst early game, and it's fine, right? Wicked Blow and Throat Chop. I think Urshifu A tier, like Red Bear, Water Bear C tier. But I don't think Urshifu Red Bear is that bad. Zacian. I mean, I'm not sure, like Zacian got a recent buff. I haven't tested it myself. Is Zacian A tier or S tier? I mean, like, Zacian is still nerfed, right? It's still nerfed to the ground. Obviously, Shadow Claw got buffed. I mean, like, Metal Claw got buffed. Like, it now got nerfed to the ground, so I would put it B tier. I don't know if you guys think it's good. It's actually too good now. We're gonna put Zacian in S tier. Let me know in the comments below again. What do you think about Zacian? I don't know. Like, Zacian got nerfed to the ground, so it was really bad. So I'm not sure. Like Zacian was really nerfed, so I'm not sure. I think Zacian was. I guess like if the recent buffs, it's good again. But I would not put it in S tier. But it got buffed again, so maybe it's back. So we're gonna put it in S tier. We'll test it myself and see how it works. But it's gonna be S tier for now. I Yami likes Zacian a lot, so we're just gonna put it in S tier. Mewtwo-X, I think Mewtwo-X is A tier. I think Mewtwo-X is a really oppressive character, but it's not as strong as Mewtwo-Y. It can get abused, it has a lot of bad matchups. It's weak against CC, and even Buzzwole can beat it, right? Mewtwo-X can be good, but it doesn't have as much carry potential as Mewtwo-Y. I would recommend you to go Psystrike Recovery. Both builds are fine, but I think Psystrike Recovery is good on Mewtwo-X. It has a lot of catch potential, but I wouldn't put it in S tier. Blaziken? Honestly, I would put Blaziken in S tier. I think Blaziken is one of the best characters in the game, and you just need to practice it to get good at it, especially in solo queue thinking. It's a really good solo queue Pokemon, and it has a lot of carry potential. Although you can put it in A tier and say that, I believe Blaziken is good if you are a good Blaziken. And when I play Blaziken in solo queue, you can carry games big times. So I would put Blaziken in S tier. Even though people might disagree with me, I think if you learn how to play Blaziken properly, it's S tier potential. Mimikyu, I would put Mimikyu and A tier. I think Mimikyu Shadow Claw build with Solo Stick is pretty oppressive. Like, I like the Shadow Claw build more in solo queue because it's so oppressive in the early game and has such a big ganking potential. So I would put Mimikyu in A tier. You can also play the Play Rough build. Both builds are fine. But Mimikyu has really good early game, really good setup. I would put it in A tier. Alright, Metagross. Metagross used to be S tier or God tier because it was such a busted Pokemon, but it got a balance patch immediately. So I would put Metagross in A tier. Although I think it's a balanced Pokemon in B tier, I think Metagross is still pretty strong with the Gyro Ball build. Gyro Ball and Magnet Rise. I think the other build is fine as well. But the Gyro Ball Magnet Rise build is pretty consistent. I would put it in A tier. It's pretty good. Pretty good character. Just need to get level 5. It's an abusive early game because it needs to get level 5. But once you get level 5 and you play Gyro Ball, you have a good last hit. You're pretty strong. Gyarados. Honestly, after the patch, I will put Gyarados in A tier. Before, I would put it in B tier. But honestly, Gyarados evolves really fast now. I will be consistently Gyarados at 8 minutes, even though Magikarp can get a beast in the early game. I think Gyarados is a good character. That's a good setup. If it would be Gyarados instantly, I would put it in S tier. But since it's Magikarp early game, can get abused. I think Gyarados is a solid A tier. The buff is pretty good. You can get Gyarados really fast. Got the waterfall buff as well. Unite move is only 89-second cooldown, by the way. Only 89-second cooldown, so you can use a lot of Unite moves. Right. We might be trying to change some stuff from the tier list, but this is my solo queue tier list. Obviously, Miraidon God tier. Such a broken character. I think all the S tier Pokemon are pretty strong. You might disagree with me with Eldegoss and Hoopa, but Eldegoss Hoopa is so good in solo queue. And Eldegoss had the highest win rate in solo queue. That must mean something. Glaceon. I will put Glaceon in A+. I don't think Glaceon is S tier. Even though people think Glaceon is as oppressive as it is, Glaceon has a lot of counters, and it's not as strong as the S tier Pokemon. I think Glaceon is good, but not as strong as people think it is. I will put Glaceon in A tier. Obviously, Green and Water Bear and Charizard nerfed to the ground. Duraludon, I don't like this character. Comfy is situational. I think it's a pretty solid tier list. I wouldn't put Mime in B tier because I think Mime actually has a lot of potential in solo queue. When you play Mime solo queue, it's so strong. It's really good actually. It's not situational. It's actually a really good character. So I will not put Mime in B tier. I think, yeah. This is my solo queue tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what do you think about the tier list. Who you think might be higher, who you think might be lower. Tell me a reason why, so I can get your point. But obviously, Miraidon is just God tier, one of the best characters in the game. Yeah, this is my solo queue tier list. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tier list, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. And make sure to subscribe and not miss future content.